Good evening and welcome. You're watching Breaking Views with me, Sanket Upadhyay, the only show where we get you all the views so that you get the complete picture. Now, there is a controversy brewing in Kerala down south where the gold scam accused has now accused the chief minister. She says very publicly and also in front of the court, she alleges that bags of cash were transferred to the chief minister's residence. That biryani vessels, extremely heavy biryani vessels, usually biryani is not going to be that heavy. So she implied that there was something really heavy in those biryani vessels, were transported without security inside the chief minister's residence. She's named other people also, some people very close to the Kerala chief minister. Obviously, the government has ridiculed this charge, but now there is a political angle here where the Kerala government is saying that Swapna Suresh, who's a gold scam accused, is doing this at the behest of the Bharatiya Janata Party. So the question that we are asking is that Kerala chief minister has been named by the gold scam accused. Is this a sensational charge born out of truth, or is this nothing but politics? That's the question we are asking. Our first guest tonight, Politburo member of the CPM, Mr. M.A. Baby. Thank you very much, Mr. M.A. Baby, for joining us. What would you say about these allegations made by Swapna Suresh? We recorded this interview earlier.
You see, first of all, these allegations are more than 1 year old. For last more than 2 years, this controversy, allegations, all that we have been witnessing. You see, as soon as this smuggled gold was confiscated by the customs department, the then chief minister of Kerala, who happens to be the chief minister today also, because people have voted in favor of CPIM, LDF and Pinarayi Vijayan, at that point of time he had written to Indian Prime Minister that this has happened under your jurisdiction, airport is under central government, customs is under central government. So the central government should institute an inquiry by any agency under central government's control, go deep into all matters, and those who are responsible for this should be brought to book. And nearly half a dozen central agencies were inquiring for more than 2 years. These allegations were made by this honorable lady more than a year ago, and central agencies inquired upon all that. And the central government is led by BJP. They don't have any sympathy left for the left in Kerala or any part of India. They could not find out anything. So it is the very same hackneyed old allegations which do not have any ground.
But don't you think that the nature of these allegations demand a fair probe? Again, you're saying that this was probed and nothing was found.
You see, these allegations were made before these investigating agencies, and they already inquired and they could not find anything. And now, let me make it abundantly clear, if the central government wants to continue investigations, they are free to do that. Kerala government will extend all possible support, because we know that there is no substance. It is the absurdest thing that these allegations which were proved wrong by central investigation agencies, again those allegations are raised as though these are all new. People of Kerala know this very well. In the last assembly election, this was the main plank for Congress, UDF and BJP. People rejected that. Out of 140, people gave 99 seats to CPM-led LDF. Anyway, if they want to inquire again, they can do that. No difficulty.
Okay. Mr. M.A. Baby, thank you very much for joining us. We recorded this interview earlier. Just putting that rider out there. Let's quickly start our discussion. Professor V.T. Rema, Vice President of BJP in Kerala, is now with us. We also have Srinivasan Krishnan, Secretary of AICC, spokesperson of the Congress Party. Dr. Sumant Raman, political analyst, and PKD Nambiar is also a political analyst. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll first begin with you, Professor Rema. You just heard Mr. M.A. Baby, who said that these are old allegations, investigated thoroughly, and nothing was found. What makes these allegations startling and surprising now?
The ED had inquired about these things earlier, but at that time also the LDF was in rule in Kerala. And with the government power, you know how much they can cover the realities, because all the accused were belonging to the leftist regime, especially the CM and his paraphernalia. So naturally, they used all the possible covers with the help of the ruling party, with their power and politics, so that all these matters, the facts were concealed. But you know, if gold rests, what shall iron do? Now, Swapna has given a blank statement that our honorable CM is to be scanned because he is the main accused in the case. And she has given a statement under 164. And she has given something secretly also, which is not published in the channels and in the newspapers. She has confirmed that this CM is directly involved in the case, and there had been biryani pots which were carried from the consulate general's office to the cliff house where our CM lives. And these pots were excessively heavy and they were containing metallic things.
No, exactly, which is why I want to ask you a question, Professor Rema. Is this, are we to conclude that the Consul General, in this case of the UAE, gave biryani vessels, unusually heavy biryani vessels, and we do not know what was in there, and Ms. Swapna Suresh says that this is very unusual, its weight, when you think of biryani in a vessel. I don't know what she meant by this. What was she saying? What else could have been in there? Metal? Gold?
Yeah, she was hinting that it was a gold carried inside the vessels. And you know, there was a scam about a bag of currency which was taken to Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan during his visit to UAE during 2016. And she has confirmed that also, because the currency were visible in the...
No, but my question over here is that this investigation was done, right? And nothing was found last year. You are saying that central agencies could not find anything because in Kerala there is a left government.
Yeah, the government could conceal every evidence because the government was protecting at that time Swapna.
Okay.
And Swapna was guarded and protected by LDF. But now LDF, the CM and his people are now not helping or protecting Swapna, so that now she is in the open and she says what really happened. Now it is time for her to give the statement which she had in her mind. It was serious. It was a serious allegation. It was hidden, and now she gives the facts which are truth. And you remember, if a person, especially a woman, if she is giving these blank statements against the ruling party's CM, that means she's very serious and she's daring to give those statements, and she wants protection also. So how can it be? How can it be?
Sure. Srinivasan Krishnan, how much of this do you think is because Mr. K.T. Jalil, we are trying to get in touch with him. Let's see if he comes and comments. Mr. K.T. Jalil went on record to say, and he has also been named by Swapna Suresh, he says that this is politics, pure 100% politics by the centre. It's a classic case where BJP has propped Swapna Suresh up and they are only playing politics because there was nothing found.
I'll tell you. I'll give a brief background. It was somewhere in mid-2020, around July 2020, that around 15 crores of gold was seized in a diplomatic bag at Trivandrum. Investigations later showed that the principal secretary to the chief minister, Mr. Shiva Shankar was involved in this. He was a close ally of the Swapna Suresh, who has been prime accused in this case. And it has also been, it has also come to the light of the investigation that Swapna Suresh was given a prime government job at the directive of the Chief Minister's principal secretary. Now, at that time, since international ramifications are there, the IB started inquiring, the Enforcement Directorate started inquiring, the National Investigation Agency started inquiring, the Customs Authority started inquiring, all central agencies were involved, and the investigations were progressing properly. Then came the Kerala elections. Now, the BJP entered into a political understanding with the left government to ensure the defeat of the Congress party in the state. At that time, the investigation agencies were asked. It's rumored everywhere that the investigation agencies were given a political directive to go cool on that. Nothing came out of that. Now, she has made an allegation, the prime accused, contrary to what the political bureau member, Mr. M.A. Baby, told. It's not an old allegation. It's a new allegation she has given. A sworn affidavit has been given under Section 144 of the Criminal Procedure Code that, one, during the trip of the Chief Minister in 2016, the Principal Secretary to the Chief Minister rang up the UAE consulate at Trivandrum and told that Chief Minister has forgotten to take a bag. Can you ensure that it is taken to the UAE? Now, she says that when this bag was taken and scanned in the consulate, it was full of currency vats. Shocking revelation. She also mentioned under sworn affidavit that vessels used to go from the consulate's house purportedly to be biryani, but it was much heavier than that. She presumes that it contains some valuable metallic items. So there are new shocking allegations that have come. Now, investigations have to, before the investigations go ahead, it is very clear that such a serious allegation, Congress demanded that the Chief Minister should step down. His office is involved. It is not merely Pinarayi Vijayan as an individual. It's a question of the dignity of the state. It's a question of dignity where central investigation agencies are entering the office of the Chief Minister.
Sure.
And the demand of the Congress party
you're
is that
saying,
investigation should be
you're
under
saying
court
that
supervision.
this, Mr. M.A. Baby's conclusion that this was an old allegation.
No. This is a new allegation.
It's a new allegation and has been given in a sworn affidavit. Okay.
In a court. She cannot withdraw from that.
Sure. Suman C. Raman, how much of this do you see is politics and how much of this do you feel needs to be thoroughly examined? Because here there are questions asked of the office of the Chief Minister, his close staff.
Look, Sanket, the central agencies, even earlier, and virtually every central agency that is in the country has had an opportunity to get involved at some time with this case, whether it is the ED or whether it is the Customs, whether it is the NIA, whether it is the CBI. At various stages, they've all been involved with the investigation. And in fact, even when Mr. Shiv Shankar was produced in court at one of the hearings, the court was asking, look, when are you going to produce something which can, justify further incarceration and so on. So I think that there is a problem. Now, this lady in question apparently joined an RSS-affiliated NGO a few months ago. And, there was the allegation that, that may also have something to do with the newer complaint. Now, this biryani anda matter is new. That is definitely new. It was not raised earlier. But the charges against Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan linking him to this case are not new, right? So what is said now has to be taken not just with a pinch of salt, but with a full sack of salt. And I think that this gives an opportunity to the central agencies to turn the screws on the Kerala CM. At the same time, it gives possibilities of various backroom deals that could happen. So it is a murky business in more ways than one. And it's not just the smuggling of gold which is murky. It's even murkier the manner in which this case is being investigated.
My question is, will you be surprised if one were to ask a question as to why did she choose to say what she did now, after all these years?
Clearly,
matter from 2016.
Absolutely. I mean, the timing, even if we do take the Kerala elections as one of the reasons, that is quite some time in the past now. It's not a month ago or something. It is almost a year, which is over since the Kerala election. So there is no logical reason there is
Sure. PKD Nambiar.
somebody stands to gain by her
So
making
you
these
allege that this is
allegations now.
politics. You
Absolutely.
basically feel that this is politics and her statement should not be taken at face value. Mr. PKD Nambiar, I ask you this question on the timing. Incident is from 2016, right? Then the gold scam, we heard about this, was in the news all of last year, and now a year later, as alleged by Mr. Sumansi Raman that she has now joined a company or an NGO affiliated to the RSS, she comes up with these allegations. The question is of timing. How would you respond to the question of timing? Why now?
Sanket, firstly, that Comrade Pinarayi Vijayan has now become Comrade Biryani Vijayan. So the biryani, these are new things new ways of smuggling. We always heard that Kerala is basically the hub of gold smuggling. We know that. Almost 80 to 90% of the gold smuggling through both the various ports, the airports and ports, do happen from Kerala. Unfortunately, it's my home state and it's from the God's own country. The problem here is that it is a public secret in Kerala, irrespective of you even speak to any of the left person in private, they will all say that there was a big scam which took place. None other than the principal secretary of the chief minister, who was behind the bars, who was one of the main accused in this particular case. And it was very well, and he was blue-eyed boy of Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan. He even went ahead on the ranks to become the principal secretary. He was in a way the one who was the commander-in-chief of the chief minister office for several years. And the same person, he was behind the bars for a couple of months. And this same, the lady, another accused, the Swapna Suresh, I'm not saying that you need to believe in her. But there is something, if you have ever happened to hear her interview since in the morning, whatever she had given, or even yesterday, anybody whomsoever have got some kind of a common sense will understand the kind of confidence in which she said all one after one another allegations, with almost like a very proof. And with one thing which she's saying that I wanted to live happily, I have a kids to look after.
Okay, Sumansi Raman wants to
giving
come
you
in.
proof. No, 1 second.
You know, a question will be asked. One is an allegation.
Revealed this information earlier. Why did she not say this earlier?
No. The biryani and all come in now. Biryani has come in, Sumant, right now. So don't worry.
No, sir.
I think after the biryani, I think Malabar Parotas are going to come in the next card.
No, seriously.
You don't know what all is going to come. So I think maybe the beef also will come.
Seriously, Mr. Nambiar, seriously, please. The point, I think the question stands. All of this happened in 2016.
What is the timing? There is no election in Kerala, Sanket. What are you talking about the timing? Is there any election is going to happen in Kerala?
No, I'm saying why was all of this not raised then?
Not even any bipole. There is
why was all of this not raised a year?
Who is employing the lady?
Has explained.
Who is employing her now? What is her position now? Where is she working now? Where is she working now?
My dear friend, why are you just defending the comrade?
I am asking a question, sir. It is not about defending.
He was working for him. You have seen.
Now where is she working, sir?
The same
sir,
logic.
Where is she working now?
Why don't you apply? Why were you not ready to apply the same logic in the solar scam? In the solar scam.
She joins an entity in February or March.
What are you talking about?
In June, these allegations are made.
Logical. I expect you to be a little logical. In the
okay,
one
minute. I would have to come in here. One moment. Let me break this logjam. Otherwise,
I wanted to say you something.
One moment. I have to break this logjam. Very quickly, Mr. Srinivasan Krishnan. Let me come in. You say that these allegations are new. I'm saying that timing is being questioned. The CPM is saying that the motive is in question. I want to know from you what should be done from here on. I mean, if a central agency wants to investigate, it can investigate. No, there is no problem.
By the state police. Central agencies were booked by the state police.
Where is the problem?
I'll answer.
Yeah.
Can I answer?
Yeah.
See, the chief minister should have resigned 2 years back itself when all these allegations about the involvement of his principal secretary in this gold scam came to light. At that time, he did not resign. As far as the left are concerned, they are supposed to be paragons of political virtue. But when it came, the fingers were pointed at their own chief minister, they changed the tune. Now, allegations have come at this time when Swapna Suresh says that I have given so much of evidence to the different investigation agencies. Things are not moving in the proper manner. I expect a threat to my life from, I don't know from whom it is, but I expect a threat to my life, to my children, to my family members.
Absolutely.
So on my own, voluntarily, not under compulsion, under 164 of the Criminal Procedure Code, I have gone to the magistrate court and given an evidence. She also stated that whatever I am telling now is only a tip of the iceberg, and much more things are to come out in the coming days. So under the given, and today morning, you know what happened? Before 24 hours, another accused in the case, Mr. Sarit, he was picked up by police in Mufti in another case. He was kidnapped literally without any legal notice or without any legal notice, taken to some unknown destination, and they told him that we have arrested you under some other case. But the entire questioning was, who is behind Sarita informing? Who is behind the Swapna Suresh giving these revelations?
Okay.
Who are involved? What was the compulsion?
Okay, Professor
So what I'm
Vicky
saying is, as long as the Chief Minister continues in office, when the police department is directly under him, no fair investigation will happen. We have also understood that political influence can come.
No, I want to know
on ED.
where,
So there should be a
if
court
central
monitored,
agency wants to probe.
court monitored
central
investigation
agency-
of the
Probe.
Jews society.
Okay,
The
Professor
central
Emma,
agency
do you think that a central agency will not be able to perform its duty in investigating charges as serious as these in Kerala? Because I look at the functions very differently here. An enforcement directorate can go ahead and or any other agency, central agency, can carry out its probe. What is the problem?
Yeah, this is the first time in history maybe the central government agencies were booked, and there were cases against the ED. Just imagine, the state is filing a case against the investigating agencies, whereas Chief Minister Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan himself had required for an inquiry, remember. And when the investigating agencies came, the CCTV footages were not given properly. There was a delay of about a month. Then some of the files were burned and some of the files were taken away from the secretariat without being given to ED and the investigating agencies. These all happened in Kerala right under the nose of our CM. So, do you think there will be proper atmosphere for the investigating agencies?
Okay. All right. I'm running out of time. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us.
One last sentence.
We'll continue. I've run out of time, Mr. Krishnan, but we'll debate this further. We'll debate this further as we go along. Certainly not the last time we are debating this issue, because this is a fresh allegation, as you just heard.